Good. So, welcome to the working group meeting today, July 22nd. We have a rather long agenda this time and so many participants. I think it's the biggest meeting ever. So I suggest we start right away and look into the topics. The first is check action items from last meeting. And we had one for Sweetha to create a commit or PR to the CFCLI eng bot so that it doesn't show up in the inactive user scan. That happens every month.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Okay, perfect. No problem. I don't want to learn from AI stuff. So we just copy it over. Good. Then review working group changes. I added here a query that should show all the open PRs on the community, which are linked to the work group ARI, and that actually lists 3 PRs. And the first one is to add Teodora and Tsvetlina as approvers to the Node.js and Python build pack, and to do that on a fast track way. Yeah, maybe Teodora, Sweetha, you could say a few words about the idea and what has been discussed up front.
Yeah. I've already added comments to the PR, but as you may know, we are trying to do some infrastructure things, and unfortunately, these 20 plus contributions cannot be reached that easy and fast that we would like. So hopefully the fast track is an available option. I guess it's one of the maybe the only correct option right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I understood that you need probably even admin access to the repositories to maintain build credentials and things like that.
Yes,
and
yes.
That would sooner or later translate into get access to the GCP secret manager. And yep, I vetoed and said, okay, first you need to be approver before you can get this access.
Yes.
And yep, it would be helpful if somebody from the Python and Node.js approvers would vote on that, or alternatively, Greg, we decide right away to accept it and to merge it.
Yeah, I'll run it by them today and either get them to approve it or I'll approve it.
Okay, then we just leave it like it is and wait for the for your final vote, and then we merge it, and then you have approver access, and then we can discuss what additional rights you need. So how to add you as there's a special team that would grant you admin rights on the repositories that is needed for maintaining secrets, because that's something that cannot be done easily otherwise. And if you then need, I don't know, additional infrastructure or whatever, passwords for email addresses in order to get these Docker registry entries, then yeah, we need to talk, and I can send them to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Good. The next one is for the CF Java client to promote Georg from reviewer to approver. Here's a impressive list of contributions. And yeah, same procedure. I try to ping the Java tools approvers to give a vote.
I know in the TOC meeting, Behan had mentioned that he had created a collaboration channel for that team, so maybe that's also an avenue for
Mhm.
trying to connect there. But I can similarly follow up internally and see what's going on there.
Okay. So if there really nothing happens in the next, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, then yeah, I would also be willing to merge it because Georg has really worked a long time already on the CF Java client. And that would help. Good. And the final one, and that leads also to my next topic. If I right, Plamen Barbadov, he works on Diego and now also on the CF Linux FS5 stack that is to be set up. There's a new, still empty repository in this build-pack stacks area. And in order to continue here, Plamen and probably then a few more colleagues over time would also need approver rights in this repository so that they can start to fill the content and to build up the stack. And I guess I have written it down here. It's the same discussion. We need to sort out how to set up the build for the CF Linux FS5 stack. That's not just having approver access, but then also elevated access in order to configure CI and probably some Haass access for testing. The alternative would be we create a separate area just for another stack, but I don't know if that's really necessary. It's more bureaucracy than.
Yeah, doesn't seem worth it in the long term.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing for you to follow up. Okay.
The good news on that one is I think it'll be the same people as the build packs, so.
What's it called? PRs. Good. Then there's a list of RFCs that I more or less just want to bring to attention. The first one, service credential rotation binding. Okay, that's now sorted out. It got merged today, so that's done. The next is this storage CLI discussion, which will become a cooperation between CAPI and the Bosch team, so that the CAPI team can reuse some blob store access CLI commands because we have to get rid of the fork libraries that are already unmaintained actually for Azure since a few years and get more and more unmaintained for everything else. And it looks like that the next Ruby update will become, if not impossible, then at least a lot of more work with forkings, etc. If we don't get rid of that. Yep, and that it discusses the idea how to go on, but also the cooperation model. So here we want to set up a new area in the foundational infrastructure area, and then add approvers from CAPI and from Bosch to work on the storage CLI. Then there are two RFCs with lots of prosa inside about stack handling and custom stack functionality. Well, they address a real problem that we have, and probably everybody who operates public foundations, that old stacks cannot be removed without breaking customer applications, which leads to escalation, which leads to hesitation to remove the stack. On the other hand, the stack is very old, is full of CVEs, and yeah, here are some ideas how to come out of this trap. Good. On the cost front, where we had some works, what we have done is we moved the ARI concourse into a cheaper region. That worked rather well. So all the pipelines are up and running again. The next thing would now be to delete untagged VMs, at least for CAPI and for Autoscaler. All the Bosch and bubble environments are tagged and have some tags assigned to them so that we can identify they are in use. And my proposal would be that we simply delete all untagged VMs, which are not have this tag belongs to autoscaler, an environment tag like Elsa, Kiki, the well-known copy bubble environments, or have this flag in use by GKE workgroup CI. These are the VMs that belong to the Concourse Kubernetes cluster. And if you look at the GCP console, you will see 3 untagged, rather big VMs, where there's even a saving recommendation by GCP that they are unused or underutilized. And if nobody complains in a week, I would simply delete them and see if somebody cries. I mean, if it was really something related to the CI environment, then it should be easy to reset up again. But I don't think so. I think nobody will notice besides the bill. And then there are also many unattached disks that are floating around. I would delete, again, everything that is older than a week and not attached to a VM. If I read it correctly, then Bosch keeps disks for 5 days after the VM or deployment was deleted. So there should not be any disk laying around that is older than 5 days. We will see if somebody notices it.
Yeah, do we know where those disks are coming from?
Not really.
'Cause
So the
yeah,
meta
especially if-
information is sparse.
Yeah, I guess like if they're old disks, we may not know, but if there's like new disks that are unattached, it might be useful to try to figure out where the leak is coming from.
At least if they are newer than 5 days, then I think it's Bosch, because the documentation says if you delete a VM or deployments, then the persistent disks will be kept for 5 days, and then they should be deleted. But the one
Right.
that I looked at was 30 days old.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Then we have, in addition, a few copy topics that we could discuss. The first one is an issue that wants to discuss a bulk API for process stats. There are at least 2 known use cases. One is CF-CLI, if you have big spaces and you list the applications, CF apps, then you will notice that it takes very long because the CF-CLI reads the stats endpoint for every single application. And if you have, let's say, 700 or 1000 applications, it's a lot of number of round trips. And the stats endpoint is pretty costly because, again, it goes to Diego and it goes to Logcache to fetch information, and that takes time. And there is, I think, a proposal to implement a new endpoint that allows to fetch not the stats, but the state, because actually for this use case in the CF-CLI, we don't need metrics. We just need the number of running instances because that's what is shown in a bulk way for complete space. And meanwhile, a endpoint that would allow to fetch this data en bloc from Diego is implemented. And the next step would be to look at a good API design, how to put that into the existing API. So if you have comments, Greg, because you know the API best, that would be helpful, and then we could go into this direction, or even a third option. That's no problem. I mentioned 2 use cases. The second use case is an SAP, let's say, internal one. That's, again, the Cloud Cockpit, a UI for showing the Cloud Foundry state. And here are similar views as the CF-CLI. So all apps of a space are shown, and again, that becomes slow for big spaces.
Yep. I mean, the only concern around this one would be like on the V2 API, the space summary endpoint ended up being very computationally expensive and was like very easy for clients to hit repeatedly to get information. So that had historically been an issue. But I think if this is a more focused endpoint, then that could potentially skirt around that issue.
And again, we won't overload Diego because here we also asked the Diego team for such a bulk API, so it would be one round trip as in the past. Sure, Diego has a little bit more load, but that's why the proposal also says we want to limit it to one space and not to an arbitrary number of spaces. And that again has an impact on the design, because normally you have space width as a query parameter, not space width, but yeah, one could also work with validations or something like that. So the next thing, there's, I think, already a PR open for the implementation. Another request from colleagues that work on this cloud cockpit, and they want to sort the routes of an application in the order of appearance, or the reverse order of appearance, and found out that the destination objects do not show created at or updated at timestamps. The information is actually available in the database, but it's not shown in the route endpoints. And the idea would be to add created at and updated at timestamps to the destination object. Nothing incompatible, I would say. We add two fields. Yeah, meanwhile, we have an implementation PR for that. If there are no objections from your side, then I would say we merge it and go ahead.
Yeah, seems fine.
Okay.
Stuff like this makes me want to bring back V3 route bindings or route mappings. I guess, yeah, the history there was we originally had V3 route mappings on the API. Then we moved to destinations, and the use case there was for supporting weighted routing. Back when we were talking about replacing GoRouter with Istio, and then that whole project fell through, and then weighted routing was removed. So now destinations kind of don't provide any value over the V3 route mappings, but you know, it's an accident of history, I guess. But yeah, this seems fun.
Okay. Great. Good. Then also a request from our Cloud Cockpit colleagues is to add a space usage summary endpoint similar to the org usage summary endpoint that already exists. I think it's just forgotten. And now they re-implemented the calculation, and of course it's buggy. And it would help if this information can simply be fetched directly.
Yeah, is there a GitHub issue for that?
Not yet, but I guess there will be very soon a PR with that.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about it. And
Yeah, I think there have been multiple requests for this, so I think this would be a good and useful thing to add.
Okay.
And then also, you know, there's a global usage summary endpoint. So there might be, I think the fields currently available on org usage summary and global usage summary are slightly different. So there may also be an opportunity for bringing some more consistency to those.
Okay. Then Postgres 17. Yeah, where should I start? I mean, first of all, we want to introduce Postgres 17. We have started already with the unit tests and would very soon switch in CF deployments a version from Postgres 16 to Postgres 17. The background here is that yeah, Postgres 15 one day, that's the version that we usually use in all our landscapes, will go out of maintenance, and we have to plan for the upgrade. We want to skip 16 because we have made bad experience with 16. There were some queries in the service plan area with service plan visibilities where execution plans suddenly switched, and it could be tracked down to a certain bug. I mean, we have rewritten all those queries, so probably worked around the issue, but we don't know whether it hits again in Postgres 17. This special problem seems to be addressed, and therefore we thought we go directly to 17. And then we would adapt all the CI things to yeah, test probably 15 and 17, something like that. And yeah, then see. won't affect you because you're using MySQL. But just to make these plans aware.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
like as far as like CAPI release and CF deployment are concerned, do we even need to continue testing against Postgres 15?
we have 15 in our performance tests. We have multiple versions currently in CF deployment. It's only tested against the unspecified default version of the Postgres deployment, which is by chance 16. We would also change that and specify the version explicitly.
Yeah, I'm like we currently only test against one version of MySQL, right, for CAPI release.
I think so. I think the unit tests run against a vector of releases, but the integration tests run against a specific version.
Right.
The same is
Okay.
for Postgres. It's one in the integration test.
Yeah,
and
makes
one
sense.
thing that hit us today is a regression in CAPI release 2.12, the latest one. That the tasks endpoint fails with a 500 unknown error if a droplet that has been used for a task run got removed for whatever reason, because
I
it was
think
explicitly removed. Yeah.
someone else ran into this also. I don't know if it's cross-linked here, but there was a PR that Tim Downey had made, and there were some comments in that other people were running into that. Yep, and Steve was running into it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it would be great if you would look at that. If not, we will also try in parallel to find somehow a fix for it, because that could lead to some delivery problems. And rolling back CAPI versions with schema changes is still something that we don't have as a standard procedure.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, now that we know the underlying problem, I think we can work
it
on
should
fixing
not be. Yeah, that's great. Good. That what I had on the agenda. Any additional topics somebody wants to bring up?
Maybe just one question to Greg. First of all, I'm not sure whether I haven't introduced myself before. Probably you see me for the first time. So I'm also from SAP, working on the build tax topics together with Teodora and Tsvetlina. I'm product manager of the team. Greg, so just wondering whether you know who from Broadcom might be at the CF Day in October in Frankfurt. Just in case we.
Yeah, so I don't know. But last time, even for CFD US, budget negotiations were really difficult internally. And so for international travel, it's an even higher order of difficulty. So we're in early discussions around that, but I definitely can't commit to anything right now just due to budgetary drama internally. So I'll definitely let you know as we learn more. But my guess is we're probably not going to send that many people, and so it's going to be a question of who we have budget for.
Okay. But basically, all of the people working on the stacks and build packs are located not in Europe, right? That's what you also infer.
Yeah, they're all in. Yeah, they're all in the U.S. currently.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also missed this opportunity to be in the Palo Alto CF Day in May. But yeah, just okay. So if you have any, whenever you have any clue, then it would be helpful also to meet face to face, and if possible for us as well, because as you can imagine, it's a similar situation. But at least it's closer to our location.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then I guess we have all topics covered. And see you next time in the copy open office hour. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a